So, generative AI is here, and let's be honest, it's completely reshaping human resources. I mean, it's drafting job descriptions, it's sifting through employee feedback, it's even building out training programs. This is a massive, massive shift, and it brings up the one question we all need to be asking. How do we use this incredibly powerful new tool not just to be more efficient, but to be more ethical and responsible? So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by getting to know this new AI assistant. Then we'll look at the amazing things it can do versus the very real dangers. After that, I'll give you a kind of ethical compass to navigate all this. We'll talk about putting those rules into practice, and we'll wrap up by focusing on the most important part, the human in HR. All right, let's dive right in. What exactly is this new AI assistant that everyone's talking about? And more importantly, how is it already changing the day-to-day reality for HR pros on the ground? The key thing to understand here is that this is a totally different kind of AI. We're used to AI that just analyzes or sorts information, but generative AI, well, it's a creator. It doesn't just look at old interview notes, it rates a brand new set of interview questions. It doesn't just organize data points, it produces something totally new from them. It's a creative partner. And you can see the impact of that right here. On the left, that's the old way, right? Just mountains of manual work, hours and hours spent on things like screening resumes. But on the right, well, AI-assisted HR turns all of that into automated first drafts and personalized plans for employees. It's not just a little faster, it's a quantum leap in speed and personalization. Okay, so let's get to the really critical part of this conversation. Because this technology, it's not just about getting things done faster. We have to be really clear-eyed about both the incredible potential and the very, very serious dangers that come along for the ride. On one hand, the promise is just huge. We're talking about slashing the time spent on routine admin work by 60 to 80%. Just think about that for a second. What could you do with all that extra time? It means less time stuck in spreadsheets and more time actually coaching managers, developing people, and building a great company culture. It's about freeing up the human experts to do the human work. But, and this is a big but, the other hand is the peril, and it's very real. See, these AI systems learn from the data we give them. So if our past hiring data shows we hired more men for engineering roles, guess what? The AI learns that pattern and can start unfairly favoring male candidates. It creates this vicious cycle of bias. And that's on top of huge concerns about data privacy and the fact that AI can sometimes just confidently make stuff up. And this quote right here really gets to the absolute heart of it all. This is the cornerstone of ethical AI. Just because the technology can do something doesn't mean it should. The most important decision isn't what the tech is capable of, but what we, as the humans in charge, decide is the right thing to do. So how do we actually navigate these tricky waters? Well, the answer isn't to just throw the tool away. It's to build a framework for using it responsibly. And that's where something I like to call the ethical AI compass comes in. This compass always points to 4 key principles. First, fairness. Are our algorithms creating fair outcomes for everybody? Second, transparency. Do our employees actually know when and how AI is being used in decisions that affect them? Third, accountability. Is there a real person who is ultimately responsible for every single AI decision? And finally, and maybe most importantly, human oversight. Is there always a person in the loop? The AI should be a co-pilot, not the pilot. And that leads us to the golden rule. The best way to think about AI in HR is this. First drafts, not final decisions. Let the AI generate the initial content, but a human must always provide the context, the empathy, and that final critical judgment call. Okay, so we have this golden rule, these guiding principles, but how do we actually make that real? How do we turn a rule into a daily reality for an entire organization? That's where we have to get practical. And it all starts with the data. I mean, in HR, we're not dealing with product inventory or website clicks. We are dealing with people's lives, their salaries, their performance reviews, their health information. Protecting this stuff isn't just a nice to have, it is a profound moral and increasingly a legal responsibility. And that legal responsibility now has some serious teeth. You've got laws like Europe's GDPR and India's DPDP Act that set really strict rules. This means you have to get clear consent to use employee data. You have to tell them what you're doing with it, and you have to have a way for them to see or even delete that data. Ignoring these laws is simply not an option anymore. So here's a super practical checklist. First, know and document every AI tool you're using. Second, make sure your data is secure and anonymized whenever possible. Third, and this one is critical, never, ever upload confidential HR files to public open AI tools. And finally, you've got to be doing regular audits to check for bias and make sure you're staying compliant. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Take a look at what IBM is doing. They created a dedicated AI ethics board. This group literally reviews every single HR AI tool before it gets rolled out, making sure it passes their strict tests for fairness and privacy. That is how you build trust and do this the right way. So we've got the framework, we've got the practical steps, but that brings us to the final and honestly the most important piece of this whole puzzle: you, the HR professional who has to navigate this brave new world. You know, being AI ready is about so much more than just being good with tech. Sure, you need digital fluency, you need to know how to read the data, but what's even more critical is having sharp ethical judgment, that instinct to know when a situation needs a human touch and automation is the wrong answer. That, plus real leadership and emotional intelligence, that's the skill set of the future. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? The rise of artificial intelligence actually makes the human, in human resources, more vital than ever before. AI's job is to handle the routine stuff, to give us superpowers, so that we can focus on the strategic, empathetic, and connection-driven work that only a human can truly do. So, as we wrap up, the challenge ahead is pretty clear. It's about learning to lead with both data and heart. The tools are here. The framework is ready. The opportunity is absolutely immense. The only question left is, how will you use all of this to shape the future of work?